Hi, this is Donna Gairns. I'm the National Lymphoma Nurse Manager with Lymphoma Australia, and we're at ASH 2019 in Orlando. And I'm very pleased to be joined today by Dr Allison Barraclough, who is the Clinical Trials Research Fellow at Olivia Newton-John Hospital in Melbourne. Welcome.
Thank you, Donna. Nice to be here.
Thank you for joining me. You were successful this conference with a poster that you presented during the conference. Would you like to just explain a little bit about it?
Sure. We released the interim results of our first floor clinical trial, which uses a combination of therapies. So it's an immunotherapy approach to follicular lymphoma. So we're basically treating patients with follicular lymphoma in the first line. So these are patients with stage 3 and 4 disease that physicians would deem to treat. So these would be patients that would normally receive chemotherapy, okay? And we changed things up a bit. So we used immunotherapy only in the first line, which has been trialled in relapsed disease before, but not so much in the first line setting. So it's a combination of nivolumab and rituximab. And nivolumab is a PD-1 inhibitor, which basically wakes up the T cells, which are a key component of the immune system, and allows them to try and fight the cancer cells. So we do some immune priming before we start the initial part of the therapy. So we give Nivo up front for 8 weeks. Then, if patients achieve a complete response, they go on to Nivo monotherapy. If they don't achieve a complete response, they go into a combination of nivolumab and rituximab. Rituximab is an antibody to CD20, which is a marker on the surface of the cancer cells. So that has a direct toxic effect on the cancer. So these two agents really work very well together in fighting the cancer. So it's a phase 2 study. It's an investigator-initiated study led by Associate Professor Eliza Hawkes out of the Austin Hospital and the Olivia Newton-John Cancer and Research Institute. And actually, we were really happy with the very low toxicity profile of these two agents. So with chemotherapy, as you know, it's a very toxic combination. But these two drugs were very, very well tolerated. Patients that were working could mostly continue to work through therapy or just continue their everyday activities, which is excellent. Patients love that. There were no grade 4 adverse outcomes, and only 4 patients had grade 3 adverse outcomes, which is very good in a phase 2 clinical trial. From an efficacy point of view, it was actually very efficacious. So over 80% of patients achieved an overall response, and about half of patients achieved a complete response. And that compares pretty favourably with conventional chemotherapy.
That's pretty good results. And the toxicity profile be a lot easier for patients as well. Roughly how many patients have you treated so far with this protocol?
So 19. Yeah. So the entire cohort will be 39, and we should finish recruitment probably early next year. So we'll have the final analysis hopefully next year at ASH.
Fantastic. We're looking forward to those results. Is it covering all ages as well? Is there any other criteria that patients are eligible for?
Sure. So it is covering all ages. Patients have to have a particular grade, so grade 1 to 3A, and they can't have any immune issues because the nivolumab can exacerbate those.
Yeah, sure. And is the trial still open or is it closed?
It's still recruiting now.
Still recruiting. Oh, fantastic. No, that sounds really promising and really good results for patients. Another option for maybe future treatments as well. Now, I do so you're a part of the Australian Lymphoma Alliance in Australia. I just can you just explain a little bit to patients what this group involves and some of the work that you're doing that would help benefit patients in Australia?
Sure. So the ALA is led by Eliza Hawkes again, and it's a collaborative effort with haematologists and doctors who are involved in haematology around Australia to get together and form an alliance to improve the outcomes of patients with haematological malignancies. So we're very research-driven and research-focused, and it's a really excellent group to bring your ideas to. So we collaborate very effectively, especially in getting multi-centre analysis of different diseases, especially the rare conditions. Yep. So it's pretty new, but it's building very quickly.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, some of the work that's been brought out of that alliance already. I'm looking forward to seeing what else the group comes up with. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a safe trip home.
Thanks, Donna.